Slam Pigs podcast is back. Episode 89. It feels really weird. 2, it feels really good. And 3 feels really relieving and refreshing to say once again, welcome to Slam Pigs podcast. Not your daddy's Slam Pigs. The new regime, well, half that was advertised of the said regime is here. My brand new co-hosts, we've brought it back, resurrected like Jesus Christ Slam Pigs podcast. Colin Dunn, former Cruise Control Roundtable member here on the channel. What's going on, man? Friend of the channel for a long time, but I want to thank you first and foremost when I reached out to you. Thank you and welcome you to Slam Pigs podcast, my friend.
I am happy to be here. When we were promoting this show on Cruise Control a few days ago, I kept not saying the right name, but I assure you I am very happy to be here.
Excellent. And happy to have you here, like I said. And where can everyone check you out that's never heard you on any of the other shows on here?
You can check me out on Twitter at UberTieGuy. I frequently tweet about wrestling and a plethora of other things. You don't even have to. I mean, I don't know why you're here if you don't like wrestling, but if you don't like wrestling and you just want to follow an account that just tweets some fun shit, that's where you're going to find me. And you can check me out over at the Future of Wrestling for Cruise Control each and every week if we feel like doing it. And you can always check me out right here on the Hibiki TMD.
If the episode of 2 of 5 live that week is sustainable, we'll do it. If it sucks, we probably won't. And that's the funny thing about the channel. We're going to hit 600 subscribers probably in the next week. And by the way, thank all you guys for that. But a lot more than half, I would say, are actually like gaming fans. And that's a great thing about this channel. I've met people like Kuzon, the other part of the Triforce, that the newest co-host of Slam Pigs, which we'll go ahead and plug. You can follow on Twitter at Kuzon TV, Colin, right? Right. But yeah, he was a gamer, and I met him through the gaming community, and that I had no clue his love for wrestling, so that kind of transcended, and here we are today. I hope he can hop on. We understand the time zone, by the way. He's a UK guy, for those of you not familiar, so hopefully he can make it on at some point. If not, we apologize for advertising, but life happens. We hope everything's okay. I'm sure it is, but Colin?
He actually called me right before the music started, and he should be getting on here any second now, so...
Excellent. All right, so he will be here in full force. So until he gets here, let's go ahead and... Oh, by the way, follow me on Twitter at the Hibiki TMD. And anyone that stops by the chat tonight, Colin, if you don't mind, I'm going to leave you to man that for the most part, just due to there's a snowstorm here, unexpected and shitty internet lately. So hopefully you guys stop by. Hope to hear from you. Let's get to the old news first, though, while we're waiting on Kuzon. The Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal. I've been frothing at the mouth, waiting with my hands for this show to come back so I can finally talk about this on some platform, because I haven't had a chance to, even though it's old, though. Colin, though, I know you're also really want to talk about it, so let's get down to it. We've seen it now. It's come and gone. The name's been changed. Snickers was pissed. Yeah, what do you think now? I think full circle.
I think we were all just a little bit pissed off. I saw the people who like to say the opposite of what everyone else likes to get a rise out of people. But I mean, for the most part, I didn't see anyone who, was like, the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal? Sure, there's not a single issue with that. All of them were like, really? That's the one you want to commemorate? Her? You sure? Okay. And it did not go well for WWE at all.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like, I mean, it's not confirmed, but I feel like a big part of it is they doubt the intelligence of their audience. Everybody, pretty much every household has access to the internet, phones. Anyway, it's so easy to look up the trials and tribulations of this woman. I mean, yes, I wasn't pissed off more than just dumbfounded. Like, just, exactly. What a bumblefuck decision this was. My God. I mean, and I'll kind of rip off Solomonster's show last week when he said, it was kind of refreshing that they just went with Mae Young instead of Moolah, because her track record isn't great, but it's not as bad as Moolah's. But neither woman really, I don't know if you've ever seen the documentary Lipstick and Dynamite. It's a really good indie documentary, women's wrestling, but a lot of women weren't fans of these two in general. So I don't know, in a way, pick your poison, but it is what it is. They changed the name. The cringiest part about this was the Stephanie tweet. Did you see this?
I don't think I did.
in typical Aunt Steph fashion, pretty much the gist of the tweet was, "We thank you, the universe, for letting your voices be heard," and hashtag change the name and just this cringy PR bullshit. When in reality, the Fabulous Moolah was this grandmotherly figure to her, probably growing up. You know what I'm saying? The family, they were so close. You know what I mean? The McMahon families. She probably never viewed this woman as that, so she probably hated. She's probably another case of. And here he is, by the way, Kuzon. Welcome, my man.
Hello.
We've already plugged you, but if you want to plug your other stuff, go right ahead, my friend.
I do Twitch stuff, so I'm a trader. We started half an hour early. I do apologize.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. I did a huge introduction and a brand new for the Slam Picks, but the other piece of the Triforce is complete. We are now complete like Voltron. Kuzon, welcome to Slam Picks Podcast, man. Thank you for agreeing to do this. And we were just going over some old news till you came on. We are just catching up on the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal stuff that's been going on.
Oh, wonderful.
What are your thoughts on Fabulous Moolah?
Well, if have you actually explained the reasons why it was bad?
Yeah, we're just about getting into that. By the way, really quick, shout out to Stone Mexican guy in the chat.
Yes.
It's just a bad time all around. Really, it's just a bad time all around, to put it in a general sense.
Yeah, one of the more, maybe the most mistimed booking decision in quite some time, I would say. Just this, and by the way, for those living under a fucking rock, he means the Me Too era and just the state of things, pretty much. Yeah, it's the whole women's empowerment movement, and this company alone, the way they empower women. We were going over before you hopped on about how we're not really pissed off that they did it. We're just dumbfounded, and we're just like, wow, you know what I mean? Like, incredibly dumb decision to do that.
Exactly.
It's like if I know this might be like a far stretch, and people might go, "Whoa, it's not that bad."
It would be like if they started a tournament around submission wrestling and call it the Chris Benoit Invitational.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Actually, it's the exact thing. Like if they did that, it's like, oh, it's bad times all around. This ain't good. It's just bad public image. Like it's a bad call.
Oh, I don't understand what went through like PR's mind. Like I don't know who was in charge of coming up with a name. I assume it was Vince McMahon, but I could be wrong. But whoever came up with the Fabulous Moolah name, it baffles me that not a single person was like, maybe that wouldn't go over so well.
See, here's the thing, right? They've done the same thing. They've done the same thing with The Ultimate Warrior. Like, they made a DVD, like, when they were in the bad books for him, completely trashing him. And they made an entire, like, DVD just absolutely throwing his name under bus. And then as soon as he comes back, it's his great hero. This has been going on since WWE have been in business. It's a thing they do.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I hate the Warrior too. I mean, but honestly, the thing about the Warrior Award that baffles me more, or not baffles, like pisses me off more, is like I don't necessarily mind naming the award after the Ultimate Warrior because he was a shitty person and he said some shitty things, but he didn't do anything necessarily bad. He just was a terrible person. That being said, the award isn't even what he meant it to be.
It's just bad.
Yeah. And a lot, and now that the name's just this generic women's battle royal, everybody's up in arms now. Well, name it after somebody. They won't do it because another ridiculous part is all this money they probably spent to have this trophy made. They don't have enough time probably to get another one.
That giant golden Fabulous Moolah trophy is just gonna sit there.
I saw it on social media, so I'm not gonna say it's my own, but like I totally agree with whoever tweeted it because I forget, but it literally looks like the Andre trophy, just with like a little gold wig on it, like the likeness.
You know what you should do? Just stick an Impact sticker over it. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
By the way, shout out to my friend Pete in the chat. He's here. He's listening. Shout out to him.
First time stopping by. Thank you for stopping by, Pete. Appreciate it. And yeah, by the way, it was a GFW sticker on top of a TNA sticker on top of an Impact sticker. Just more of those.
Hold on, really quick. Shout out again to my boy Pete. Just in all caps, name the battle royal after Jillian Hall.
Bruh.
Name it after her fucking mole. What was the name of it? Let's ask
God.
Boogeyman's stomach.
Yeah, the boogeyman.
Oh,
Good
God.
lord.
It should have been like someone like Alundra Blaze. Like, come on.
I mean, yeah, they had like the Mae Young Classic, so you don't have to market everything women after Mae Young. The Mae Young Classic was enough. Yeah, go with like Alundra Blaze or Lita or Trish. You know, someone who meant something.
You don't see the thing
Someone
about
someone who didn't set back women's wrestling like 20 years.
someone who didn't slip roofies into the girls' drinks and steal their paydays. No, I feel like you see the thing about their thinking and that whole trophy thing. You don't even need a fucking trophy for this. Just have the goddamn match. That's what's dumb too. But just call it Lita. Just call it Trish. You're so right. You don't. It's just an enhancement that's going to be used as a fucking prop. Like every time they have a trophy to be broken. That's every time.
Well,
Let's
it's
copy
there
and
to,
paste everything.
it's there. Yeah, it's there to get people on the card. It's there just so they can, announce them as something different for a year. And I mean, and I say this with the utmost respect. I'm sure there are some of the women who are strong enough to do it. However, if the trophy is as big as like the Andre the Giant Battle Royal trophy is, most of these women probably can't lift the trophy. If you really think Liv Morgan is out there, lifting it up and taking it with her, you're probably wrong.
Bro.
Carmella deadlifts like 35 pounds probably.
I mean, no, I don't know if you've heard of Bianca Belair, but apparently she can deadlift 495, and so I'm scared of her.
It's amazing to me in all the Japanese women's wrestling I've watched for decades of this shit. Americans, this is the first I've ever seen a woman use her hair as a weapon, and I love every second of it because it's exactly what a heel should do. I love that gimmick.
Yeah.
She's tremendous. We'll get to her someday down the road, definitely, because she's money, in my opinion.
What were the Japanese women's stable? Was it the Bomber Girls?
The Jumping Bomb Angels.
Jumping Bomb Angels, yeah.
Yeah, they were great. That, and you know what? That segues back to the Moolah stuff. To see the thing about Moolah with the territories and stuff back then, every woman in the country, pretty much, unless you were in like the most outlaw women's wrestlers outlaw you could possibly be, you answered to Moolah. She ran that shit, right? So when WWF would bring in like the Jumping Bomb Angels and acts like that weren't Moolah people, they didn't make it very far in the WWF, and that's why. And I liked that idea in the '80s of a women's tag title, right? I thought it was fine. They had like a 2 out of 3 falls match at the first Royal Rumble. It was excellent. It was good. It was fine, but that's been another speculation for years that Moolah helped shut that shit down and ship them back to Japan. And just, if you go back to the first Survivor Series too now, and I've done this since this Moolah shit's gone down, just to see the curiosity. Every woman in that match with Moolah in it, the 10 women, you could see on their face the disdain they had for that woman. It's cringeworthy. But that's the
my
Moolah
favorite
stuff.
thing is, no, I have one more point to make
Oh,
here.
good.
The thing that annoys me too is, they said the reason they haven't put China in the Hall of Fame is because, well, someone can look her up and see, that she's done porn. And they can't look up Fabulous Moolah and see that she pimped out every girl she came in contact with.
I mean, you can't Google image probably Moolah pimping people, but and that's a PR bullshit answer. That always has been. That is Stephanie doesn't like her, so she'll never go in. Pretty much.
Exactly. Like you can't say that we can't put China in the Hall of Fame because of things that they can find on the internet, and then go name something after the Fabulous Moolah.
We did mention what Moolah did, right? While I was gone.
Yeah.
But I wasn't.
Sweet Georgia Brown, Luna Vachon, so many women over the years in that Lipstick and Dynamite documentary I mentioned. Numerous articles, interviews have claims about her stealing women's paydays. The Sweet Georgia Brown stuff, it's actually Sweet Georgia Brown's family now that carries the mantle of the story because she's obviously not with us. But yeah, just testimonies about her literally, and Moolah's husband at the time, Buddy Lee, right? He was like the Tennessee promoter. Because Moolah started in Tennessee, correct? Yeah, just stories of him passing off women for sex and pimping and just drugs and horrible stories. I mean,
and it was just put off, just like that's the business, and it's just like the fact that you have to go through all this stuff, get other women to train these young trainees, and then like Moolah wasn't the one who would train them. Like she got these trainers to do it.
Moolah never trained a single one of them.
And like she didn't pay them either.
Nope.
She
And actually,
lost it.
they made, or Moolah made them pay rent. Like she would
Yeah.
house them, but she would make them pay rent and utilities and all that shit.
No different than what pieces of shit in America do to like somebody from Mexico that's illegal or something. Kind of along the lines of that in a payday sort of sense.
Exactly.
Yeah. Any last thoughts, Kuzon, on the Moolah stuff?
It just shouldn't have come up like at all. Like whoever brought up the idea, like obviously, like either they don't know because they're that ignorant, or they just don't care and they think they can put like a blindfold on everyone, just like put the wool over everyone's eyes. But it should have been like someone else. Like the actual tournament itself, like it's fine, but don't have Moolah represent it. It's bad PR.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
In 1997, you could have got away with this. Totally. In 2004 or 5, you probably could have got away with naming it this. But like you said, as soon as you came on the show, you're right, man. Wrong time, wrong era to do this in, amongst other things. And I think to wrap up on my end of the Moolah stuff, key word of this for me is underestimate. Never underestimate the knowledge of your audience and the lengths they'll go to do homework, especially when it's drama-filled train wreck info they're looking up. People love to look up that kind of shit about celebrities and famous people. Trust
Oh
me,
yeah.
it's always going to come out.
yeah,
That being said, over the course of the last 2.5 years on Slam Pigs, I've always liked to do Raw first. I've always liked to review Raw first. But obviously, the biggest wrestling news story this week, there's no way, because we got to segue it into SmackDown, was obviously great news, in my opinion. And first and foremost, if anyone's been on Twitter, and I don't do this a lot. I'm not white knighty, but I don't do this a lot. But if you're being contrary or just trying to be too cool for school about this, you're what the fuck? Because I'm elated and so happy for Daniel Bryan, guys. He's back. Obviously, now we saw him on SmackDown. I lot of okay. We might go deep on this topic because there's a lot of speculation about WWE's holding back. They've known he could have been clear because of Super Bowl doctors and they wanted to push Roman. We all know the controversies. I don't know if we'll go that deep, but let's across the boards. I'm sure we're all in agreement. This is tremendous.
great. It's fantastic. I couldn't be happier.
He says in the most unenthusiastic tone.
See, right, here's the thing. The promo that he cut, I burst out into tears. Like, I will admit, I am the heartless person. I'm the most heartless person you can come across. This promo had so much genuine emotion. The fact that you could feel it, because it's real. Like, I'm so happy about it.
You sound like you're choking up a little bit right now. Just talking about the promo.
I am, actually.
I'm with you, man. It felt really good. I found myself possibly, maybe tearing up a bit too. How could you not though? If at the end of the day, he's maybe this generation's Mick Foley. You never hear anything bad about him. He's a stand-up guy. He's a good family man. You know what I mean? Like, and he just loves to wrestle. He just wants to fucking wrestle. And
Oh yeah.
you got to admire that kind of commitment to your craft because he looks at it as a craft. I would think more so than a business at the end of the day, like a Brock Wood or blah blah blah. Great stuff. I know when we did Logan's show the other night, your good buddy Shady C in the chat brought up, hope he doesn't die before WrestleMania. And I think the gist of that joke that he made was that I definitely feel like they're going to make him tone back his style. I think that's a given. I don't think we're going to see more Dynamite Kid headbutts.
The diving headbutt, the diving headbutt is done. I will be very surprised if he's doing a suicide dive. So
I was surprised the fact that he did the front drop kicks, because whenever he does a front drop kick, like he hits a move perfectly, but then you've got to come down straight on your back.
Yeah,
like bro, that is death defying shit.
I'm surprised he took the fucking apron power bomb from Kevin Owens. Like,
oh my god,
exactly.
I was scared. I was like, okay, we just saw the return of Daniel Bryan and the second retirement.
Yeah, and obviously you're talking about the Kevin Owens stuff and Sami Zayn attacking Daniel Bryan, which the crowd went apeshit for, which they should have, and it was great. And it was, if anything, I feel like Daniel Bryan has waited 2 years to do Jack Gallagher drop kicks in the corner, which really his, but to be like, here's how you really do it, Jack, because man, they were stiff and they looked nasty when he did them here, because he kind of delayed it till he got right there. I don't know if you call it that, but it looked awesome, and he looked like he hasn't missed a beat,
Oh yeah. Oh man, when I was watching that whole segment, I think it wasn't real to me, until he hit the first move. Like, he started getting beat down, and then you see him hit that, like, snap German on Sammy, and I was just like, yes! Go! Fuck yeah! I was so happy.
I feel like if Kurt Hawkins would have did a suplex like that, though, to somebody, he would have been fired on the spot. Because that was a stiff fucking suplex, too, man.
It was. But, man, it was so sweet to see him start wrestling again and start doing the whole thing.
It was still, like, so swift as well. Like, he got it, like, flush. Nothing wrong with that.
In the 2 years that he's been retired, he is not rusted at all. He hasn't skipped a beat.
You know for a fact that he's just so happy just to be doing moves.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And as always, I'm so glad to have a wrestling show back on my channel where I can talk about a nuance. I'm so happy he doesn't have Daniel Bryan general manager hair now competing, because I'm glad the shag's kind of back, because it's still like 2013 Daniel Bryan now, so it looks good.
Yeah, like I think he kind of knew at some point he was probably gonna wrestle again for WWE, or at least on the Indies. So that's why, like, he started growing his hair out again, because, you know, the Daniel Bryan, everyone is like obviously he's been great for a while, and he wrestled for WWE for a long time, but like the Daniel Bryan that, like, when he started to get his popularity was, you know, like, he was the longer hair and the big beard and all that.
Kuzon, I think the biggest elephant in the room is, you think it was the same fucking flannel shirt he wore when he retired in the speech, his comeback speech?
Yeah. It's just,
I think it was.
Your man ain't changing clothes. Like, he's taking vegan to a whole new level.
He's wrestling in the blazer from now on.
That's true. And the sneaks. I will say
his
this.
Fur boots.
Yeah, the berserker boots. It's early in the year, but I know Mania and SummerSlam and some big pay-per-views are still to come, but it's going to be hard to top this as a feel-good moment of the year. I think this is probably going to take the cake.
Yeah.
It's been quite some time since, like we said, we felt this good for somebody. Thing is, though, are we going mixed? Are we going general manager tag with this now at Mania? What do you guys do each? I'll start with Colin. What do you do now with Daniel Bryan going into Mania?
I'm fine with him. I think we can all agree that he's more than likely going to do a tag team match with Shane versus Owens and Sami Zayn. And I'm fine with it, to be honest. It's the thing that makes the most sense. I mean, don't get me wrong. If he was just, like, shoehorned into the WWE title match or something, I wouldn't necessarily mind it. But at the same time, it's like, well, why? It makes no sense.
Because there's not sufficient time to build that up. That's why it would be dumb.
Exactly. So I'm fine with him doing this tag team match because it makes the most sense. Because, you know, I'm fine with him wrestling a match that no one really wants to see that bad, for us to get, you know, the versus Styles, you know, versus Nakamura, versus Finn Balor, versus all these people.
It's like there's loads of opportunities, like, of opponents you can have. Like, you can have, like, either like a handicap match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn against him, or you can have the Shane match, or like there's loads of different things where, like, seeds have been planted. Like, you can bring something up out of nowhere. Like, for all we know, you could have, like, I know it sounds really dumb, but, like, you could actually throw him straight at Cena if you wanted to, because he's on SmackDown, I believe, or is he on Raw? Cena.
Cena's a free agent.
I know he's a free agent, but what's he been on constantly?
He's been on both. He's been on both, like, the last month, hyping the Undertaker match that'll probably going to happen.
Colin I don't know, wants that to happen so they can have the Total Bellas storyline mixed in.
Oh my god!
I don't.
Big John, come back!
I want Undertaker to stay gone, is what I want him to do, and I don't mean that in, like, I don't like him. I love the Undertaker, but I love him enough to say I don't want to see him wrestle again. I really don't.
You just don't want to see him in, like, a casket permanently.
Exactly. I want this man to live into his 80s, not die in, like, 2 years because his bones break on him every time he takes a step out of bed.
To go, though. You know that's the way he wants to go.
Oh, no. If Undertaker could die in the ring, I'm pretty sure he would easily do it.
How would you do this, by the way, Travis? Like, what would you want to happen?
I think right now that's fine doing the general manager tag. I think you might as well. I think that's a fine way to. You're not really playing it safe because he's cleared. I mean, he can still work, but you're not. See, the thing in this is patience with me. You're not giving the fans all the goods yet. He's gonna get his shit in at Mania in a tag match. but he doesn't have to work the whole match. See, and
How
then
long does he go?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Sorry, I was just saying, how long does he go? Do you think? How long should it be, the match?
10 or 11.
10 minutes?
10 or 11.
To be safe.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
And I think you obviously, I think you make Shane eat the fall, because after that, you've got to tie the bow and wrap the storyline up on this Miz stuff. There's no way that can't be forgotten. And I wouldn't wait till SummerSlam. I wouldn't do it the pay-per-view the month. I'd do it maybe 2 pay-per-views after Mania. Build that up for a little while. Tease maybe an angle where Miz attacks him or whatever with the Miztourage, and like he has to retire again because the Miz attacked him. Tease that, and I don't know, do something. You got to do something with the Miz though at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't not address that angle, I feel like.
You know for a fact that like Miz is just sweating. He like as soon as he looked at his phone and saw that notification, he's like, oh.
And see, they should have capitalized on that. I would have done that too. So even though he's not on SmackDown, the brands are going to be fucking back together anyway soon, right? You should have just via satellite or something had a clip of the Miz just looking shook while that was going on. That would have been a fine touch. But I feel like after the Miz, then we get to our title matches and our dream matches. But we need to do that first, basically.
I don't know if you need to do it first. I would be fine with them saving it for a bit until like a SummerSlam or like one of the big 4 pay-per-views. Honestly, if they wait a year and do it at next year's Mania, I'd be okay with that too.
I don't feel like for live crowds, especially because the brands are going to be together again. It's all going to be one show, right? Eventually they're going to have segments where a Daniel Bryan segment's going to follow a Miz segment, and then like the people are going to chant during, and it won't be able to go unnoticed. So you're going to get to a situation where like it just kind of had the trigger has to be pulled somewhat. Tease it, if anything.
Yeah, the brand split is definitely slowly dying though, because apparently after Mania this year, there's a rumor they're going to go back to like dual branded pay-per-views for every show.
Mm. Like I'm with Travis on this one, mainly because of like the evidence of the Seth Rollins and Triple H angle. Like they dragged that thing out for ages. I personally was fine with it, but I know for a lot of fans they get really impatient with this kind of stuff. They can't wait, and once like they've got the idea into their minds, it has to be done right now. But you know, it depends how they take it. But if for the fans that we have in WWE, I'm gonna say that they're not gonna want to leave it too long. As nice as it would be to have it on a major pay-per-view, don't leave it too long for the Miz and Daniel Bryan thing.
Yeah, I agree.
They kill it.
And I think the sad state of affairs also is, at the end of the day, we're not going to get any of this. WWE is probably just going to build this up to Shane and Bryan at SummerSlam.
I can't wait. I can't wait for the inevitable Daniel Bryan Mike Kanellis feud. It's going to be great.
Jesus Christ.
Mike Kanellis? Are you serious?
I miss Mike Kanellis. I'm going to be honest.
Going against gender.
Is he okay? Has anybody checked on him?
Mike Kanellis is fine. He's just not being used.
Hell of a guy to have in catering. Loves it.
Have you seen him? He's fucking jacked now. He should be WWE champion.
Oh my god.
Rusev and Nakamura, guys. I don't know if you call it this match. They had another match this week. Another good match. Ended with Shinsuke getting the win. I was fine with the finish. It wasn't like... It was like a back and forth. Neither guy came away looking shitty, I feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The boy Rusev. He's always doing it. Like he can put work boots on, but not put himself down. Like he can put himself over whilst putting the other talent over as well. He's really good at that.
I'm gonna when this is over, I'm gonna timestamp that work boots quote. We have all gone back and forth. Everybody's had their 2 cents on the Rusev boy. It's fine. I've always like I can't not talk about patience and something else and complain about it here. It's fine. Something good's gonna happen. I'm sure by the end of this. They notice the merchandise sales. They notice it. It's just like you said, Kuzon. People need to calm down sometimes and just wait.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think though? Honestly, the direction of the Rusev character, because this is the new regime. First new race. Let's just catch up a little bit on how let's just go back since like the Rumble to now, just like the momentum. And you think they've been dropping the ball, or do you think there's a grand scheme here and they've been booking it right?
I don't know, like the gimmick can kind of run itself. They just need to leave it alone just to run it. Like, don't like fuck him over or anything. He's like, he's with Nakamura. You're giving him someone who can work well with him, and like the gimmick itself, it's organic. And with he's got who's he got with it? I'm drawing a blank. Who's the man's with him? My man's
Aiden English?
Adrian English. Yeah, Aiden English. Oh, yeah, man. He's just so he's so good at his craft, like not in wrestling, but like in getting a crowd involved. It's crowd involvement that gets like the crowd into what's going on. And therefore, it's with the crowd interaction, you're letting the crowd insert themselves into something that you display on TV. That is an important thing to do. I know this sounds like Shabaka or whatever, but
No.
little things like that.
This sounds like I should be paying you to teach me psychology at a pro wrestling school because you're hitting the nail on the head.
Yeah, like hashtags. You know, you've got hashtag Rusev Day every day. You've got a thing that's trending. Like, if possible, it can trend worldwide. It's easy to understand. People can get involved with it, and you have someone like Rusev who's funny as hell. It just all works fantastically. I don't want it to die. It should stay for a long time. It's like Edge and Christian in a way. Not exactly, but in the way it works.
Exactly.
And it's such an
evolve
easy
it
thing,
at least over time too. Give it a little class.
and it's such an easy thing to get behind and to chant, like the Rusev Day chants. You know, whenever they're bored, it's kind of become the new CM Punk chant. Like if they're not enjoying what they're watching, they just Rusev Day, because they want more Rusev.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter how much pro wrestling has evolved from the 90s era in WWE to now, where in-ring seems like the full frontal of what everything is based upon, if you're going to get over or not, if you're going to succeed, the Indie Darlings coming up or whatever, you could go back to the glorified Attitude Era, and it didn't matter if you were a D'Lo Brown, a Jeff Jarrett, anyone with a catchphrase, it's really all it took. Just like you said, if something can interact, look at the New Age Outlaws, for Christ's sakes. They were so over at one point. I've watched promos where they will go out, they will just hold the mic up, the fans would recite every fucking word of it. And I think even in the modern era where people are like, well, it's not like that anymore. Bullshit, because here's a case of it. And you know what? Rusev is a great worker. A man his size, he's one of my favorites. He has been for years. But as over as he is with just, and it's not a catchphrase, but just the Rusev Day gimmick or whatever, he doesn't have to work as hard as he does, but that's a testament to how good of a worker he is and how much, he wants to work well. But it can work in any era. A catchphrase is really, if it clicks, you're good. You're golden.
You get people chanting, that's it. Like, you've got a golden ticket to run.
Go ahead
And for
and
the
sing
record,
the Willy Wonka song, Colin.
No. To the people who are like, something like that doesn't happen, I'm going to bring them up, even though it's kind of like a taboo topic now, but like Enzo and Big Cass were always described as sort of like the modern day, New Age Outlaws.
Exactly.
Because, and case in point, and I experienced this firsthand, I went to a Raw live event, here where I live a few years ago when Enzo and Cass were still a tag team and all that. And they did a gimmick type thing where like his microphone wasn't working. And so, he looked at the crowd, he put the mic up to his phone, and he just sort of started mouthing the words. And every single word was screamed by the fans. We all knew what to say. We all knew like the cues and when to say it. And it was perfectly timed. And it was so easy to get behind.
Yeah, so let's fucking split them up. Let's break them apart and then let one of them catch a rape charge, and then here we are. Sorry.
It's hard to find people who are as over as, Enzo and Cass were as a team, or as Rusev is as a person. And WWE, and like Ty Dillinger with the 10 chance, one of the most over people in NXT, and he was on SmackDown, and he's been on 3 SmackDowns in 2018 so far. They're killing. They don't. If you're not the person they want, they don't care. No matter how much they cheer for you, no matter how much merchandise they buy, if you're not what they want to push, they're not going to do it.
They also still mindfuck guys too. They test guys, they squash them, see if they got it, see if they got the desire, all that shit. And they also test guys, fans' reaction. Let's see if we book this guy like shit for months. If fans hang on when we start making him win again, then we got something here. I think that goes like decades. I think that's how they book their show sometimes and test guys.
You better be bomb-proof, is what they're saying. You better be fucking bomb-proof.
Yeah.
This is exactly what they say.
Yeah. Yeah, it's... Well, now I'm depressed, Colin, because you brought up Ty Dillinger. But let's bring him up. Let's go. Let's go right there. He had a match with actually your guy, so you can't be that sad. Go ahead and throw it. It's your weekly Baron Corbin segment, Colin. This is my gift to you.
Oh man, yeah. On SmackDown, we had. I was very torn because on the inside I'm just like, man, I really love Baron Corbin, but I also really love Ty Dillinger. Who do I root for? I mean, I was more than okay with Baron Corbin winning between you and me, but that botch that happened though, that was ugly.
Yeah. Yeah.
The oh my days. Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah, that was. I saw that. I was like, that's a great name for it. And I've seen Baron Corbin pull off that kind of spot before. And it was not his day.
Was it his fault?
I think it was actually more Ty Dillinger's fault. I don't think he sandbagged him, but I think it was just kind of like his weight wasn't shifted, and
it was a miscommunication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shit rolls downhill for Ty Dillinger's career apparently. I mean, Corbin got the win. Apparently, he takes his shirt off now, which everyone's thrilled about. I don't know, man. I know they want him to be their Braun on SmackDown. It's never gonna work. It's not the same.
Do they? Really
I mean, they'll hint at it. SmackDown's monster. They do it at every fucking brand split. They'll be like, "Well, he's our monster." They want him to be so bad, but he just doesn't have it in him to be that.
Yeah, he does.
He's too cool, calm, and collective of a guy. I feel like he lacks the intensity.
Yeah, I get that. I loved a few days ago. I think he tweeted it after his match with Dillinger. Let me find the tweet. Yeah, here we go. Have a 6-star match. Check. Put on a $12,000 watch. Check. And then in parentheses, I have 6 in that range. End parenthesis. Have a bunch of losers tweet me stuff like they matter. Check. Enjoy a cigar and whiskey. That was the whole tweet. I'm just like, I love this, man.
Well, that's cool, but for me, it's like, so you're a monster heel or you're a Ric Flair type fucking heel at that point? You're bragging about your money now? Like, does Braun come out and be like, I got 3 grills for all my meat? No. I don't know. They just maybe it's not him. Maybe it's in the booking, but he should be that chicken shitty big man that doesn't need to cheat type heel. He has that personality to me, and I think that would suit him well.
He was killed as soon as that fucking Money in the Bank thing happened, which I watched that the other day and I just made myself sad because I was like, oh man, why did I do that?
I think, right, since he won the US title, he's kind of been on this good like attitude. Like by attitude I mean like his actual personality. He works best when he's giving the crowd shit. Right, he does it well. It was kind of rocky at the start. Like he come up with terrible like comebacks against the crowd. Like they ripped him to shreds. But he can do well when he's talking like shit to the crowd. He can make it work. But he's got to let loose. Like he seems like he has some self-esteem issues when he's out there. But he seems to he's clutching to his opponent like, give me something. He's relying on them too much.
Hide my bald spot. Move.
His hairline is really. Oh, his hairline is rough.
It is, but
I love Baron Corbin, but instead of spending $12,000 on a watch, you need to spend some of that money on some Rogaine.
The money gimmick doesn't make sense. Like he needs to stop that. That's dumb.
I have as many cars as I have hairs on my head. I'm sorry. Anyway, that's where they're going with poor Ty Dillinger, botches and all. Other than that, guys, SmackDown, we saw an attempt to cash in, failed by Carmella. Natalia actually beating Charlotte in the Mania season, which, what? Did I read? Yeah. Thoughts?
Yeah. I think it's the kind of like, it's very obvious Asuka is going to win at Mania. I'm calling it now. And so I think this was kind of a way to like caused tension in Charlotte's head. Just like, oh, Natalya beat me. How am I ever gonna beat Asuka?
Wait, Natalya beat her?
Correct.
Man, career over.
Attempted cash in by Carmella. Both women eventually during the match got knocked down. Like the referee was like count to 10 before both women stand up. Here comes the music. Carmella hands the briefcase off, says she's cashing in, but the bell was never officially rung or announced. Charlotte just like mafia kicked her when she turned around, so that's their way to get out of that. And then Natalya just distraction rolled her up. Pin. Shocker, right? Distraction roll up. Get the counter.
What a big shock. One of the things that went through my head at first was like, what if they just completely swerved us? What if Carmella runs out, cashes in, the bell rings, but Natalya is the one who gets the pin, and because it becomes a triple threat at that point, Natalya is technically able to win at that point. So Natalya pins Charlotte or rolls up Carmella, and Natalya walks out champion and faces Asuka at Mania. Like, that was the first thing that popped in my head. I'm like, oh, please don't do it. Actually, I kind of wanted to see it happen just because it's like, okay, sure, why not?
It would be a safe way to kind of prolong Charlotte not having to lose to Asuka yet, but it would be but then you'd be stuck with Natalya and Asuka as who's going to really be hyped. Exactly. And all due respect to both women, but
Natalya's great, but right now I think Charlotte is definitely better, and the match everyone wants to see is Charlotte and Asuka. No one is clamoring that much to see Asuka versus Natalya. I'm sure we'll get it at some point because Asuka is going to be on the SmackDown brand. So
yeah,
I reckon like at some point, it is. Wait, is that briefcase for both women's belts or is it only for one of them?
To my understanding, it's only for SmackDown, but I don't think they've made it clear.
Because you also told me that Asuka could only go against the title that she was on the brand on. And
that's not what I said.
Yes,
I never said anything like that.
Travis, your man's lying to me here.
Now that you throw that monkey wrench into it, but she could go for both belts.
Okay,
I could see him doing that to jazz up Nia Jax and Alexa.
Let me defend myself. I said that up until the Royal Rumble when they said you could pick both. Until this year's Rumble, that was usually what they've been going with for the last few years. So suck it, Kuzon.
Bamboozled!
Really quick shout out to, big friend of the channel, co-host with me and Travis, Logan Myers is in the chat.
Myers! Give me Myers! What's up, man? You know what? Pull the curtain back. Logan was going to produce for me tonight. Unfortunately couldn't because of his computer update, so shout out to him. Great pally. Thank you for offering to do it, I should say, even though it didn't have him. Yeah, check him out, Future Wrestling, on YouTube.
Also Snare, he is also in the chat.
Good pally, Snare X. Check him out on YouTube. Yeah. SmackDown stuff, other than that, we got Bobby Roode, Jinder Mahal, and Orton now, with one Singh brother again, and just this past the Singh brother, and then tease our finishers, and this is what we're getting in Mania, 3-way for the title. Seems that way. Anything really to say on this? It's more of the same with this angle.
I'm gonna be wearing my gender shirt in anticipation.
How could I fucking forget? How could I forget for the first episode of Years Ago is you are wearing the gender shirt. Yeah.
I am indeed wearing the shirt.
How much did that cost you?
I think with shipping it was about $40.
Jesus, May.
Dude, that's like 2 games. What are you doing?
It was so worth it. Like,
mate, that's like 40 games on Steam. Are you serious?
No, but think about it, because I bought it in anticipation because I went to a SmackDown Live, I went to a SmackDown Live taping a few weeks ago, and the comments and looks I got were worth the $40.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Actually.
What was your Letterman top 3 quotes for your shirt that night?
I don't know it was necessarily. I think when I was walking to my seat, because I had one of the floor level things, it was like 7 rows behind commentary. I was walking, and I overheard one guy. It was like, "Holy shit! Look at his shirt!" And I stopped because I overheard. I was like, "Oh yeah, it's great, isn't it?" And it's like his friend was like, "Dude, what the hell is that?" I was like, "The greatest shirt you've ever seen in your life." And then I walked away.
Limited edition. Oh yeah.
I checked the website. They don't sell this shirt anymore, so it kind of is. The couple I was sitting next to, they were just some older, kind of like middle-aged couple, and it was near the end of the show. They were just like, they just turned to me randomly and was like, "Hey, where'd you get that shirt?" And I was just like, "Oh, I just got it from some random like third-party website." And they asked me like, "Is he your favorite?" And I was like, "No, he's not. I just really wanted the shirt."
Now, I know we have new blood. We have new listeners, first-time listeners in the chat tonight. For those who don't know, aren't in the know, Colin went out of his way to get a Jinder Mahal all-over T-shirt for $40 goddamn and wore it to his SmackDown show.
You can shameful plug, if you go to my Twitter account, if you don't follow me, please do.
It's in the description. Get over there and make fun of his shirt now.
Uber Tie Guy, I have several photos that I recently posted of me wearing the shirt so you can get a good look at it, and it was great. And one guy actually stopped me for a photo. One guy literally ran. Like, I could hear him running from behind. He was like running down I don't know what it's called, like the arena. That's not the part where we're sitting, I guess. I just blanked on what that's... Yeah, I guess. But yeah, he's like, "Hey, my friend loves Jinder Mahal. Can I take a photo of that?" I was like, "Yeah, you go right ahead."
One of the other two gender fans out there.
Yeah, it was me and him.
There you go. Yeah, definitely worth the price of admission. Just at least stopping by Colin's Twitter for a glimpse of that shirt. My God.
Oh, my other favorite part was when Jinder Mahal was he was there twice. He was there for his segment on the show, and then he was there for the dark match. And on the segment, when his music hit, I just jumped up and screamed. I was like, "Yeah!"
Oh my God.
I acted like the biggest fan there was. I was like, "Yeah, my boy!" And I could hear the people behind me just laughing their ass off because they could see the shirt, and they were just like, "Holy shit!" And
it reminds. I went to a SmackDown taping in like 2001 in Orlando, Florida. We was down there for vacation, okay, at the Orlando Arena, and I made a Takamichi Noku sign to be ironic, kind of like you with the shirt or whatever. Same fucking thing. Kai and Tai came out, and I lost my shit. Like, yeah, and the people behind me were like, thought it was hilarious too. So I kind of did the same thing.
Then Jinder came. The dark match main event was like a 7-minute WWE title match between Styles and Jinder Mahal, and I knew he was losing, but I was cheering for him. I was like, "Let's go, Jinder!" And when he got pinned, I was like, "Boo! Boo!" And everyone around me was just laughing and was just like, "What the fuck is this dude's problem?"
Do I want to know how bad Logan is probably roasting you in the chat right now? I probably don't.
He's not right now, but he probably should be.
We had Luke Harper beating an Uso. No other nothing else on SmackDown. This week's show, it was the Dana Bryan stuff alone. I'm going to give this a B. Other than that, not a lot of progression. And this is Mania season. And I know Styles had the injury scare last week or whatever, and I know it's smart to keep him kind of off right now in a way, but that's fine. But yeah, B for me. The Dana Bryan stuff, that's really the only thing I would say. So the Rusev and Nakamura match was good, but I would never say go out of your way to watch it. If you saw the other one at Payback, it was, or not Payback, Fastlane.
It was more or less the same.
Yeah. But fine. What do you guys think of this week's episode?
It's ridiculous because like this has been going on since Rumble. Because I was thinking, okay, as soon as the Rumble comes up, we're getting a whole refresh. We're gonna get into Mania season. We're gonna put it into like 5th gear, maybe 6th gear even. Nah, never happened. Like we've been plodding along so much. Like at the beginning of
it's been a very like sort of. It hasn't felt like Mania season that much. It hasn't had that sort of like feeling about like, oh shit, we're getting ready for the big time, boys.
See, on Raw it has, and we'll get to Raw in a second. Raw's done a better job, even though I'm with you. It doesn't fully, something's off. I don't know if something's off, but maybe it's just we're getting older. I don't know, but in a way it doesn't feel like Mania season, but I don't know, man. It kind of feels like, to equate it to using OBS, if anyone's familiar with that, it's like we're in Mania season now. Raw turned the resolution all the way up. SmackDown turned that shit all the way down so the stream doesn't crap out. It feels like they picked that shit up a little bit. Like, I get it. I get it. The focal point, as it was, and it should have been Daniel Bryan this week. And I know I said about filler, and I get that, but it's still fucking Mania season. You're having Natalya beat Charlotte in a distraction for a fucking chick she's not even having a match with, just a Money in the Bank cash in, and we'll see. I mean, it's not worth getting fucking pissy about to give the show a fail, but it was fine. I've seen much worse episodes.
Oh yeah. By the way, shout out to my friend Heather in the chat. She doesn't even watch wrestling, but she's here.
There you go.
Thank
you for stopping by.
Being the struts.
That being said, it's time for this week's Raw review, and I gotta get right to it. The Roman stuff. Let's dish right in, man. People don't give Roman a chance, but I like the segment. I like this whole thing because I'm not trying to breeze through the show. I just realized how long we've been going just on SmackDown. I do have some things written down in my notes. The U.S. Marshals that, Kurt Angle cut a promo for anyone that didn't see it. Talking about something completely different. Here comes Roman Reigns through the crowd, no music, nothing, I thought it was great. It's sorely lacking in modern wrestling. I mean, we saw it in this segment later on, though, when Brock had to have his music hit twice, but Roman came out, interrupted. U.S. Marshals ended up having to come down and restrain him and arrest him for, reasons. And then he ends up attacking U.S. Marshals, and I have written down here the U.S. Marshals look like Adam Pearce and Gene Snitsky. I don't know if it was them, if they got.
It was not. They were all local indie wrestlers. I would like to point out two things.
I know.
First of all, one of the Marshals had his jaw dislocated by Roman Reigns in that segment. It was the big, I think the one who looked like Snitsky. He was the one who he got walloped
that big
in the jaw, and you could see him on the way to the floor, like his face was shaking and jiggling and all that. Like, it was bad. And secondly, assaulting a U.S. Marshal sends most people to jail for 10 years. So I think the main event of WrestleMania is ruined. But
Daddy ain't coming home.
Funny he should mention that, Kuzon, because later on, we all know the segment now for most of it. It's been the most viewed thing on their YouTube this week because it was a really good segment, I feel like, though. With the blunders we'll get to. Brock Lesnar then, while Roman's handcuffed, after attacking U.S. Marshals, Brock Lesnar, brilliantly, like any heel should do, takes advantage of the babyface being in the cuffs. And shout out to Roman here. I wasn't a real big fan of him on the mic this week. I gotta say it. I've been giving him credit lately. He just sounded a little to me this week. Rehearsed. I don't know. But anyway, the look Roman gave here when he was like, I'm fucked, was priceless. I liked it.
And those handcuffs were real. Like, I saw a picture of what his hands and wrists looked like after the assault. Like, they were cut to hell.
Should get some pink fluff on that stuff.
Get the fuzzy cuffs.
Spit on your wrists.
Oh no.
Brock Lesnar then obviously runs down, beats the shit out of Roman, and you think that's it. Roman then put on a stretcher. The Beast music's hit again. Here comes Brock Lesnar this was great.
I love this entire opening segment. It made me laugh a lot too. Like, I was just in a good mood, and just every time Lesnar would just assault him more. Like, when his music first hit when he was in the handcuffs, I laughed. But when his music hit again and he started running back, I legitimately laughed out loud. I was like, holy shit, here we go again. But my favorite part was when he got to the stretcher, he just kind of pushed it to the side. He didn't do anything.
Just me.
He literally just pushed him to the floor and left again. He was yeah.
At first, he gave this little fucking Girl Scout push, and it did nothing. Then he got pissed, and he got embarrassed, and he was like, fuck this, and he just pushed it as hard as he could.
I wanted to see Brock Lesnar pick him up. I don't know if you've remembered or saw the match, but I don't remember what the context was, but Rey Mysterio was on one of the boards.
Big Show.
And Big Show picks him up and just slams him across the ring apron on the board. And it was the greatest thing ever.
That was one of the scariest things I've ever seen, actually. He should have broke his spine at that spot. Here's Slam Pig's line of the week. Michael Cole, literally at this part you're talking about, where he gives him the Girl Scout push and shit. Michael Cole says the soundbite, Brock Lesnar should be arrested, not Reigns. Roman Reigns just punched a U.S. fucking Marshal. What? Who fed him that fucking line? How's the XFL going, Vince? Where's your focus? Good. Jesus Christ. Anyway, that little tidbit aside, this was a great
No,
segment.
one of my favorite things. I'm going ahead here just a little bit, but when later in the show, when Alexa Bliss was talking to Kurt Angle, and he was like, Nia should be suspended. No, Nia should be arrested. And then later on Twitter, I saw a screen cap of that, and then a thought bubble over Kurt Angle's head was just like, we're already doing that storyline in the show. Think of something else.
Well, hey, at least the public isn't saying Nia should be given an award for being fat shamed in the storyline. So count your lucky stars on that. We'll get to Nia in a little bit, but man,
No.
Kuzon, what did you think of this? What did you think, and how do you think they've been handling the Roman and Brock stuff, the build up to Mania?
I mean, like, they're doing what they can with it. I didn't appreciate the false suspension. Like, no. Like, I was like, okay, you're getting suspended. Just not okay, fair enough. But wait, what for? And then, like, it came out like, oh, this is an angle. I'm like, oh, okay, great. So that meant nothing. But like, yeah, Roman held himself, like, in terms of like body language, he's doing a lot better. Still iffy on the promo, but like he's doing good. Laugh my ass off at Brock coming out twice because he like hobbled with his big grin. His big pudding head coming out with a big massive grin.
That's the greatest
pudding head.
That's the greatest description for Brock Lesnar I've ever heard in my life.
Chat, hashtag pudding head. Make it happen, please. We take photoshops too. Don't be shy. Also, he's been hunting and eating deer bologna in his little gut he's got going on. His ab gut. I don't know what's up there.
Your man's hungry.
He's hungry. Pudding head's hungry.
He wants some of the big dog.
Oh god, like he's gonna like stick him on a fryer, and that's gonna be the end of him.
He misheard you with hot dogs, so he just fried them. Jesus. I make all my meat into hot dogs because I'm a hunter. Anyway, this is pretty much thumbs up, right? Across the boards on this segment.
Oh yeah. This whole segment got an A+ from me.
It was great.
Fair enough. Hard to
Roman
find.
Didn't suck. It was great.
It's John Cena again this week, guys. I will say this. This hasn't been as Black Preacher mode hokey as we've seen. I think he's taken this week. It was a little more serious for me, even though it's still. I've come around on Cena a lot over the years, and I usually find myself defending Cena more times than not. But I feel like he should maybe pick up some intensity a little bit more. Even though he's getting great lines in, his delivery's great. There's just some, and I feel like it sounds like I'm ripping off Edge and Christian's podcast because they kind of said the same thing, but I'm with them on this. It needs more intensity, especially if you're calling out someone like the fucking Undertaker. You're not calling out the Mountie, Adam Bomb. No, it's the Undertaker, and it could be his last match. And this could be another reason why it doesn't feel like Mania season to me, Colin. Something's missing. Something big is missing in this angle for me. And I don't just fucking mean the Undertaker either. I mean something in this the way things are being booked and delivered in the lines is missing.
It's the atmosphere. Yeah. It's the atmosphere of it. Like Cena has a chance to go against the Undertaker. He's insulting him. Like, I get that the Undertaker is kind of the locker room leader still, even though he's only there like once a year. But like, you should be ripping into this lad. If you're going to go to the point where you're bringing up real life stuff, then you should be going hard at this lad. Don't just be saying, oh, you know, you're sitting in your ego shame or whatever. I'm just like, you should be ripping into that. You should be desperate. Cena should be showing desperancy. Is that a word? I don't know. But
we get what you're saying.
We can make
it should be shown as like being desperate, because Cena has no opponent at this point.
And it should be mixed, I think, too, and I totally agree. But mixed more desperate, mixed with temper tantrum in a way, borderline maybe. Instead of sitting in the crowd pretending you're a fan, I'll even take you going to ringside and throwing around some chairs and company fucking equipment. You know what I mean? Just fuck some shit up. Do something. Just throw your tantrum or you're pissed. Show us you're pissed. Rip up the mats. Do something. Push down the timekeeper. I don't know. Roman Reigns just hit a U.S. Marshal. You could do more than just be like, booga booga, here's Kane. I don't know. But this segment, it wasn't great.
It's that Black Preacher again.
It's also a pretty great quote. Ooga booga, here's Kane.
Ooga booga, here's Kane.
If ever a way to describe the Royal Rumble main event, Ooga booga, here's Kane.
Maybe his last 5 years as an active performer. Well, unless he was corporate.
I liked corporate Kane, if I'm being honest.
I like the concept of like this huge corporate guy with like the fucking sleeves ripped out because he's so muscly and just kicking the shit out of people, like the Taps Man or the Collector or some shit,
Yeah.
but not how they did it.
I love that he's running for mayor during all of this. I hope he wins. I really hope he does.
I wish that was in the gimmick so bad, like a Mr. Bob Backlund when he ran for president.
Big
Throw
Demon
Kane in
Mayor.
his mask, governing, campaigning.
No, they did a Kane did a like a public signing where he like signed autographs and like promoted his campaign. He did it with the Undertaker.
I was gonna say, well,
which is also I think the only time Kane and Undertaker have ever been seen outside of wrestling like hanging out together. But he did it in the mask. He was wearing the mask.
That's awesome. That's all. But I meant though, like they should do it like in a storyline where he's like, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't even know that. I need to check that out. How could I miss that?
It's kayfabe smashing. Although the intention is to keep kayfabe, it's amazing.
What did you guys think of this Cena segment this week?
I thought it was great. I'm warming up to the idea of Cena versus Taker. I don't want it. I don't want the Undertaker to wrestle again. I don't think the match is going to be fantastic. I don't think it's going to be great. I don't think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be very mediocre because the Undertaker, as good as he has been over the years, you know, back when he was in his prime, you know, 10 years ago, so on and so forth. He's an old man. The dude is like legitimately 6'10", 6'11". He's about 300 pounds. The man is old. He's 52 years old. He's had, you know, several surgeries. That Roman Reigns match should have been the end of him. It should have done him in. It was the best send-off okay, let me rephrase. It was a good send-off for the Undertaker character. Losing to someone who is going to be, you know, WWE's top guy for years to come. As much as people don't like Roman Reigns, it's the truth. You got to accept it at some point. Undertaker did exactly what he wanted to. He put someone over on the way out. That's exactly how wrestling tradition is. You go out on your back, you put someone over, that's the end of it. He left his jacket in the ring, he put on the gloves, he broke kayfabe and kissed his wife. That should have been the end of it. But no, because Cena's back and they want that dream match and they want to market it more, we have to go through this again. We have to go through another pretty mediocre match with The Undertaker just because of who his name is. And I get it. I like The Undertaker. I want to see him wrestle again, but I don't want this Undertaker. I want the Undertaker that's good and that can move and that doesn't hurt him to walk. I want that Undertaker. I don't want this Undertaker who has to take 10 minutes to get to the ring because he can't walk anymore. That's the issue. I don't care that they're doing this match so much as I'm more concerned for the Undertaker's well-being at this point. He's an old man. That's my issue with it.
Mm.
Fair play. Fair play. Kuzon.
I have no issue with the match itself. But like Colin said, like this shouldn't be happening. I'll take the match, but like this shouldn't be happening. Like the bow has been tied. That is like what I say when I watch movies or play a video game or something. I always say the ending is paramount. What I mean by that is it should have a good ending and it should be final. Don't then rip it up and then like dig it like dead corpse out from the ground and continue.
Yeah.
Like you're ruining it then. Like you've made this foundation, let it be.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. I love wrestling. I really do. And as soon as I hear the first, you know, gong and the lights go out, I'm probably going to scream my head off and be like, fuck yeah, The Undertaker. But, oh, excuse me. Man, the thing I want the least, however, is the rumored return of the American Badass Undertaker with
Yep.
Kid Rock singing his entrance.
It's just gonna go there. What do you think?
I don't want that at all.
See, and I've heard podcasts and I've heard people say it with Cena taking these deep shots and this personal shit that nobody's really ever said the Undertaker. I kind of feel like maybe not the Kid Rock music in full on, but just Mark Calloway more should kind of come back for one last ride as opposed to more maybe than Taker. If you want to make it more reality based in a way, I can see that argument.
Mm.
I don't know. And a lot of people also. Go ahead, Kuzon. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, I don't like the idea of. I mean, we're in the quote unquote reality era. I'm fine with you mixing reality with wrestling, but not to the extent where, and we'll get to it in a minute, like The Miz is doing with his promos. That shit is too far.
Ooh.
It's like it just doesn't make sense to do. Like, you're not getting anything out of it that way. Like, but yeah, like if it happened, like if he brought back the whole Los Boricuas Undertaker, then it'd be fine, but not as his final match. Jeez.
Well, people say that, like, oh, they should bring the American Badass back because it's like it'll be easier for him to do. Not really.
No.
He might be able to talk in a normal voice for once, and he can drive the motorcycle.
Yeah, he
down
doesn't
to the
have
ring
to
and he won't
operate
have to
a
walk.
weapon down the ramp when he's doing the Undertaker gimmick. Essentially.
Yeah, but
what if he just he hits some lighting thing and he accidentally goes left into the crowd? I just got a horrible image in my head.
Oh, that'd be great, especially off of
that'd be great if it's just
especially off of last year's ramp that was like 20 feet above the audience. He'd fucking take a sharp right and kill somebody.
That one would have been like a Hot Wheels playset type deal. Fucking my God.
Good Lord.
I see.
It's like Richard Hammond.
Do you guys think if it would have been flipped, if last year it would have been Cena and what we thought in the send off, and this year Roman calling out Taker, taking these shots, you think it could have been? Think it would have been better, worse, or
it would have been? I think it would have been worse as far as like the reception Roman Reigns got last year for beating the Undertaker and the whole feud, and like, I mean, we all saw the fucking the promo that happened on Raw that like he opened Raw, walked out there, and for 20 minutes he was just booed, and like they were chanting, fuck you, Roman, or asshole, asshole. And all he said was 5 words like, this is my yard now, and there's like even bigger boos. Take that and times it by like 7 if they reversed it this year. Because like if they would have had John Cena beat him last year and that was his send-off, more people would have been fine with that.
They would have accepted it more.
Yeah, they would have accepted it. And like
maybe not have liked it, but kind of like come to terms with, all right, well, Cena makes sense.
Better with it than Roman. However, if they did the thing last year, like Cena beats Taker, takes off the gloves, takes off the coat, leaves the hat, and all that, and then he comes back this year and loses again to Roman, he'd be done. I mean, people are sort of kind of starting to get behind Roman now, but if this happened, he'd be ruined.
Yeah.
I could see that. Let's move on though from Taker. Another highlight of the show. Go ahead.
One thing I wanted to say: Cena did have a really good quote in the promo that I really liked, and it was, "You're not the god they made you. You are the man you've allowed yourself to become." That was a really good quote. I was like, "Oh shit, okay, Cena."
It's like a fucking Nas song, Jay-Z.
Probably, but I like the idea of like, I kind of like where Cena's going with it. Like I know you're no longer a shell of your man. Your wife is posting videos of you working out on Instagram, and I just saw a meme, and it was the Undertaker and Michelle. Like, gee, thanks. Now I have to wrestle again because you have an Instagram addiction.
That was just gross, by the way. The fact that you mentioned that.
Oh boy. Ronda Rousey sit-down interview with Kurt Angle this week. I thought it was really well done. Well done. Talk about great lines in there. I mean, I've heard Ronda say shit like that before, but I mean, it was smart to give her lines like that about how, she's a bitch and blah, 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 and I'm tough and I want to be an equal. But it was just another case of another. We'll get to the Ronda on the mic, but this was fine. How they're handling her video packages, at least, is fine. Thoughts? Anyone?
Okay, I'll go. I like Ronda Rousey. I like that she's in the WWE now. I enjoy what they're doing so far. I think she has a long way to go as far as work, her promos, because right now, and I said this to Travis before I went live, I think Ronda Rousey right now is just kind of being told to go out there and do whatever. I don't think she's having promos written for her. And I don't think what she's doing is been rehearsed and been talked about. It seems like she kind of she shows up to the arena and is told right then and there what's happening, and it is just like, just go do it, and if it's shot okay and nothing bad happens, we're golden. That's what it kind of feels like right now. She still doesn't have the I'm a WWE performer right now. It's still kind of like UFC megastar Ronda Rousey is making a guest appearance. It still has that feel to me right now. She hasn't, and I don't think it's going to be that way for a while until she's like wrestling Dana Brooke on Raw in a regular match that's like top of the second hour. It's not going to be, the same.
At the same time, though, I feel like WWE should have had a little bit more foresight into, at least, I mean, you knew she was coming. I mean, the public that knows kept secret well or whatever, but get somebody with her and have the foresight to not throw her into a position where we know she's not seasoned enough to be able to cut promos on the fly and kind of do her own shit with bullet points. She's not, I mean, it's nothing against, she just doesn't have the experience to do that yet. And they just kind of usher her in that, like you said,
Yeah.
It was just really weird, the fact that they had a dark match with her.
It wasn't a match, it was a segment.
I know, but I took a big issue with that.
Me too, because only David Bowie should wear Ziggy Stardust makeup. God damn it, Ronda. What was that? Jesus.
Awful,
go ahead, Kuzon.
Awful. Absolutely awful. Unforgivable. How much is she being paid for each, does anyone know roughly what she's being paid to just be on each segment?
She doesn't have
showing up.
she doesn't have the Brock Lesnar style. She signed I think a multi-year I think in the end goal once she gets started, I think she'll be doing live events and guest appearances and shit like that. She basically has told everyone, and to my knowledge, she is essentially going to be one of the WWE women performers.
I just hope it doesn't turn into a situation where we bring her in for 3 matches a year. She's an ambassador now, and that's going to be her role.
That's exactly what Ronda Rousey was saying. She doesn't want to have happen, and
she doesn't want to become Sting.
Yeah.
No, exactly. She doesn't want to be Brock Lesnar. She doesn't want to come in once or twice every.
Well, he's not an ambassador. He's fucking hunting. He doesn't go out and be like.
No, I know that, but I mean, you get what I'm.
Yeah.
He wants to be a full-fledged wrestler. She wants to, do the training, do the live events, okay, I don't actually know if she's doing live events. I'm just kind of spitballing here based on what she said.
She's a competitor.
Yeah, exactly. She wants to be, Charlotte and Asuka and, Paige and all that.
Mm-hmm. The thing is, right, is the fact that she's come off this big hype, which is great, but, I get where they're putting her, and what WWE are doing is fine, but I don't know when it was, but they had the contract signing, and they were trying to get the idea off that Kurt was having a bit of a problem. She wasn't catching on to people's body language very well, because there was so many pauses, and it's still happening now, kind of, and I'm scared to for her to go out on her own and do something, and cut her own promo and lead it herself.
I'm very curious what what is she gonna do? for a while. Like
It could kill her, is what I'm worried about. It could kill her.
Because, like, at some point, you know, if she really is going to be, like, you know, on every Raw, doing the live shows, stuff like that, she's going to have regular storylines that aren't, you know, these, like, big mainstream things. Like, you know, not every match she's going to have is going to be, you know, teaming with Kurt Angle to fight Triple H and Stephanie McMahon.
Book her to pay her dues in a way. Fans get behind. Look at Gargano right now, how over he is because of that kind of booking.
Exactly.
I had the idea that she was going to win the title before Money in the Bank. Like, just win a title or be in a title match and have Carmella cash in and somehow, like, win after or, like, after, like during a long match between Ronda and someone else. So she gets a cheap win off of her. And then Ronda has something to sink her teeth into.
And you know what? And you know what? You could book also going into that. The stipulation would be if Ronda loses, she doesn't get another shot. So then you could make it where she has to work her way back up. So at the same time, she didn't actually get pinned clean. She got fucked over, right?
Yes.
But it gives that underdog feel. That's how you could spend that.
Exactly.
We need a promotion coming. We need a
It helps everyone out.
To my understanding, I'm told that, you know, she's supposed to go. Apparently, WrestleMania 35, they want to do Asuka versus Ronda Rousey. And honestly, I don't get me wrong, I like the match, but apparently they want to keep both of them undefeated. And I don't know if I'm ready for another year of Asuka's streak, and I don't know how well Ronda Rousey wrestling for a year in regular storylines is going to go. I'm very curious to find out what they're going to do.
I'm fine if Asuka's streak keeps going because for me
I'm fine, but she's on SmackDown now. She's going to have like fresh faces to wrestle, so that could be fine.
And also, it's kind of for me, and people compare it to the Goldberg streak. The Goldberg streak wasn't actually really taken seriously the whole time. Asuka's streak, I mean, not completely, but at the end of the day, it's been more a competitive type. How the matches and finishes have been, and I feel like, especially with her last couple matches at takeover shows with that momentum, is she going to lose the streak? I think that added to the atmosphere and the hype of those matches with Ember Moon, which I like those matches actually. I know some people don't, but and I feel like if you keep the streak going for another year, I mean and I think they'd handle it well with Asuka. I mean, why not? And I feel like it would add to the matches too. Is she going to lose the streak and the fans invest more?
Well, they have she's in the mixed match challenge right now, and like they have said that, you know, if she loses, like if her and the Miz don't win, then the streak is over.
Apparently,
that's what they've been going with.
If reports are true, this googly-eyed fucking Archie and Veronica, Charlotte and Bobby Roode pairing. Apparently, Miz will probably eat the pin, and they're going to win the MMC, from what I'm seeing.
I don't want that to happen because, and I mean, for the record, technically, Asuka is not entirely undefeated in absolutely everything, because in NXT, in like the first few months she was there, she did lose a battle royal. And as I recall, it was Eva Marie who like threw her over the top rope.
But then Michael Cole or somebody always spitting on commentary, like she's never lost a one-on-one match.
Well, the thing is, I don't want them to do that. I want them to be able to just say undefeated, and everyone doesn't have to like bitch about it.
Right.
As far as battle royals go, I've always been under the I've always thought like no one loses a battle royal. There's just a winner.
There's just one winner.
Exactly. And so the same thing with this mixed match challenge. If she loses, like if her team, and you know, even if the Miz takes the fall, it's still, you know, Charlotte and Bobby beat the Miz and Asuka, and like they can easily do the whole, you know, never been pinned, never been submitted, or you know, has never lost a one-on-one match. But it's still kind of like,
In the next year too, I can see them going another route like they used to do back in the day. Kuzon with like Beth Phoenix in China. I could totally see them throwing Asuka out there in a Rumble or something with the men. Maybe Asuka. That leads to an angle with Asuka chasing the Miz for the Intercontinental title into SummerSlam. Empowerment.
Oh my god.
I'd be okay with that. I'm pretty sure now that they've done the Women's Rumble, I'm pretty sure it's going to be an every year thing. I don't think this was just a one-off.
It's here to
I'm
stay.
very positive it'll be every year from now on.
You know what? Not for nothing. went off without a hitch. It went off well. I didn't hate the Women's Royal Rumble.
I thought it was very good. I was more than okay with it closing the show. I mean, especially since the thing happened with Ronda. If you did that in the middle of the show, it would have been like, oh, okay, that's weird.
There's a big but on that. Next year, they can use the soft padding of nostalgia and legends. It's not going to be as accepted if they do the same thing. They're going to have to get some more women elevated to fill some more spots with up and coming.
I think by that time, we'll have, some NXT call-ups like, the Iconic Duo and Nikki Cross and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So at that point, it won't be like, oh, it's an NXT thing. It'll be like, okay, it's just more people from Raw and SmackDown that are there.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And it's still fine to do like NXT call-ups and like nostalgia thing, but like a good portion of this year's Rumble was like nostalgia, and you can't do that. I mean, you can have one or two every year like they do in the men's Rumble, but like in the women's, it'd be weird if like every year there's like 10 or 12 different, Lita, Trish, Tori Wilson, Molly Holly, Vicky Guerrero, and all that.
Yeah.
Kuzon, though, we segue. I feel like every time I'm on a podcast anymore, and you can't not help it because of the way they just book the women anymore. When you talk about a woman, you end up talking about the entire roster for some reason. For some reason, that always happens anymore. Ronda Rousey, though, in this, Dana Brooke came out with a terrible scripted promo. My God. And just got judo hip tossed like Taz, just dumping a jobber on his head back in the day. She just did not give two shits. She threw her. Holy shit.
It wasn't a bad suplex.
No, it wasn't like she didn't try to protect her. It was just like this weird hybrid kind of style of a suplex I'd never seen, where like she did it on her belly in a way. I don't know. Honorable mention, though, if anything.
She flipped over.
Yeah, good.
I think she flipped over, and it was a nasty bump because like she hit it, and then she immediately the momentum continued. Like usually when you hit a move, as soon as you hit the mat, the momentum stops.
She just kept going.
Maybe you'll bounce a little, but this one, like she hit the mat and rolled out.
It's like the mat.
And she didn't
like
know where she was.
Yeah. But honorable mention, though, in this, if anything, even though the segment was kind of trash, I did not like this. It wasn't good. The fan. 20 seconds in, there's a guy who kind of looks like David Spade in a light blue shirt. So excited. He does a fist pump. I rewatched him do it like 10 times. It's worth anything for that fan. That was wow. That was the Ronda stuff. The final deletion. I know, Colin, you were a big fan of the payoff.
It was the ultimate deletion.
Yes.
What'd you think?
It was something, all right.
What did we think, lads?
One thing I want to mention. Okay, one thing I want to mention. We saw the one between Jeff and Matt on TNA, right? With the same production value that this one had. That was a great move. Because it felt go on.
Jeremy Borash was behind a lot of what happened with the TNA deletion type things, and Jeremy Borash is in WWE right now. He's one of like the backstage guys, so I think he had a big hand in it too.
Mm-hmm. It had the exact same atmosphere, except Bray was there. That was the only thing that was different.
Yeah.
They had
everything. Which wasn't a bad
there.
thing. It wasn't a bad
No, it's a good thing. The atmosphere is there.
Well, I mean, it's his actual fucking house too. That kind of helps. That it doesn't.
Yeah,
change.
like everything was like atmosphere in any kind of media, whether it's video games, movies, television. That shit is important, and it's missed upon in media nowadays.
Yes. Amen.
It's really important, and they got it to a T.
And quite frankly,
perfect.
Quite frankly, man, I was surprised because I thought we were getting House of Horrors with this. I dreaded this going in.
For the record, I like the House of Horrors. I'm just gonna say.
Oh my God.
But
I'm sleep.
For the ultimate deletion, I thought it was great. I didn't notice this at first, but I went back and was like, "Oh, that's actually pretty cool." Remy Hardy was playing when Bray Wyatt was like walking to the ring, in their backyard. Remy Hardy was playing Bray's theme song on the piano.
Yeah,
which I thought was a very nice touch.
We got the wee lads. We got Senior Benjamin. We got Jeff. Mr. DUI himself, which we didn't talk about.
I really enjoyed that ending scene where it was like, and I saw it coming a mile away because they did the same exact thing. And, the final deletion was like Matt goes under the boat, Skarsgård, the dilapidated boat. And, boat opens, and it's Senior Benjamin, and I like he tosses him like a little ball that has it's designed to be like glow. He's like, you got the whole world in your hands, and then Jeff shows up out of nowhere and was like singing the song. It was like, oh shit, Jeff Hardy, Brother Nero.
Right.
I wonder if Jeff got his DUI while like filming around there, driving, but he forgot to take the contacts out, and he was really sober. But they thought because he had the contacts in, he was fucked up. It was just a misunderstanding. That's why nothing happened. No punishment. Oh, I like this. Like you said, Kuzon, they nailed it. They did it just like Vanguard. If anything, I'll say they upped the graphics a little bit for Vanguard, but that's fine. That was a good touch. That's something you should upgrade. That, you know what I mean? But it was good. It was exactly what it should have been. Now the speculation with Bray Wyatt going into the River of Reincarnation, Lake of Reincarnation, excuse me, that he's getting revamped. He put out a cryptic tweet just saying goodbye on Twitter.
Actually, to be fair, the tweet saying goodbye, he posted that like 3 hours before Monday Night Raw even started.
He was probably happy that this was A, over, and B, he can start anew, maybe do something different. Kuzon, like we talked about his character growing stale earlier.
Yeah. Like, I like Bray. Like, I love horror in any kind of media. But the man just, he's like a junkie. He just doesn't stop. Like, you gotta help yourself. It's like the Dolph Ziggler effect in a way, because it's the same thing going on. No matter it's like when you put someone against Bray, you've got nothing for his opponent, which is kind of depressing. But I thought this must help him a lot. Like, it's gotta help him.
Yeah, unless they bring him back as son of IRS, it can do nothing but good, something different for him. And hopefully we could see it in how he handles his new character or whatever. I mean, this could not be anything, but if it is, hopefully he'll be relieved, as we will be. Other than that, we got Miz Taraj, 6-man tag Balor Club. Rollins is still massively over in an Intercontinental picture for some reason. But I know you wanted to talk about this, Kuzon. Miz mentioning them by their little indie names.
Hashtag Prince Nevitt. Jesus Christ.
That was funny. I'll admit, that is funny.
Oh no, I fully believe the Miz was serious when he said that, because he actually thought that was his name. I don't think it was supposed to be on purpose. I fully think the Miz just fucked up.
He just got confused and thought it was Neville because of the height. He slipped up.
I remember seeing a gif of it. I can't remember the guy's name. He does loads of. He's famous for doing wrestling gifs on.
Is it like TDE or something like that?
Yeah. Like he put the gif up, and I just remember watching it. I'm just like, yo, whom? Prince Nevitt?
I'm gonna reach out to TDE and try to get him on the show, B, to get him to make like a Puddinhead gif. Something.
Book it down.
Book it.
Here's the thing, right? I get, again, we're in the reality era. However, you don't shame people by using their indie names. It's like if someone brought shame to the fact that The Miz was on a reality show, and the fact that his name is Mike. It doesn't, knowing games from it only makes people look bad, and then people who have only started watching wrestling aren't gonna get it. They aren't gonna get who Tyler Black is. They're not gonna get who Prince Devitt is. No one knows about a New Japan. No one knows about ICW.
It's like
it's
like to equate it to movies. It's like, okay, it's like in a Lord of the Rings movie, somebody goes up to Gandalf and is like, "Whatever, Magneto." It wouldn't make any fucking sense. What was the point?
Any sense?
It would fuck up the universe. Kind of like everything was up. What? Ow? Yeah. I'm with you, man. I'm so with you. Yeah. Prince Nevitt. Jesus.
I just hate the Miz for doing this, because he's done this forever, and it doesn't get me genuinely hating him as a character. It just gets me hating him for just being lazy. He's a CM Punk wannabe. It's appearing to me. He just wants to. Anyone can shoot. That's a true. Anyone can shoot. but it takes a craftsman to do something with it, and he's done absolutely fuck all with it.
And you know what? That may be.
I am going
Hold
to.
on, hold on.
I'm
That
going
may
to
be
have
the
to.
legit the best argument I've ever heard on. Because I think the Miz is good, but I agree he grows stale fast. They all blend together after a while. Anyone can do a shoot. Guys like Flair in the day, those '80s promos, they were fucking shoots, guys, and they were all different in their own way. Dusty's promos were stories, and they were shoots. And I know what you're saying. That's how you should do it. That's how you should spin it. And I think the Miz is doing good, but you're right. Anyone can do it, and he hasn't been consistent for me. Sorry, Colin. Go ahead.
I have to respectfully disagree with the both of you. I think the Miz's like work shoot promos that he does, like saying like, I've been here for 10 years. I've never had an injury. I'm the IC champion, but I'm not on the magazine. Like that was one of the quotes. It was like, I'm the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion ever, and I can't even get on the WrestleMania magazine. Like everything he says is like pure facts at this point.
But literally, every word you just said in that sentence feels like every promo about how he should be in the main event, and he's in this movie. Same thing.
But that's the thing, though. Like he's still not getting shown the respect that he deserves. Like you think he's repeating the promo just because it's lazy writing or anything, but like nothing has changed. He was making the same type of promo a year ago, and I realize that that's where your issue is, but that's the point. He's been saying this for years, but he's still not on the WrestleMania cards, or not cards, but like the posters. He's still not on the advertisements. He wasn't on the poster for the Madison Square Garden show they ran a couple weeks ago, and he was in the main event.
And you're right. And I'll give the Devils due. You're right on this, because if Ric Flair would have always been like a U.S. guy in the '80s, but never, because Miz has won it once, okay, but not consistently held on to it as many times as Flair, he would have never been taken as seriously. There wouldn't have been fans dressing as the Horseman, idolizing Flair. So you're right. I will say you're right on that aspect. They have to at least pull the trigger with Miz if they're gonna. It's kind of equating to what we go back to earlier about Ty and Bozeman storylines. They need to, it is getting mundane. You're even a fan, and you're admitting that of his promos. There needs to be a payoff with getting him a world title eventually. I feel like.
Mm-hmm. So here's the thing, right?
So we can at least get a different promo. Sorry, Kuzon.
Yeah, exactly. But here's the thing: you put Miz in front of anyone, right? When he does a promo, when it's his time to talk, there are so many arguments that you can go against whatever he's saying. But if they did that, Miz wouldn't have anything to reply to them with. Is the thing, like he shoots on Finn Balor and Seth, but then immediately, like when Seth and Finn say something to him, he just gores at them, just like, meh. Like it doesn't go anywhere. And as well as the fact of like
that when he did that, sorry.
Yeah,
because he does.
Yeah. The thing is, like, he's IC champion. He goes on about like, oh, I've been IC champion, blah 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 times. I've held it for blah blah blah. That title hinders him so much. The only time when I see that title, all I can see is just his face. Not because he deserves like the title. I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve being like champion, but he should have something other than the IC title. Tag team champion, US champion, a different belt. But whenever I look at the IC title, it's just the Miz held that. It's like that belt being with him, that hinders that belt, that hinders him. It's like,
is it kind of the Mr. Perfect effect where you immediately think IC guy with Mr. Perfect because they made it that way with the booking back then?
Yeah, he's kind of just integrated into it, and that hinders him so much. I want to see him somewhere else. Even if he has no belt, fine. It looks different, and then you can go with something different. It's not just, well, I have the IC championship. It's like, okay, what are we going to do with it? It's, I don't like the Miz, but I can respect his craft. I can respect why people like him, and I can respect the fact if he gets pushed. However, I don't think he's going to. Because of those reasons.
If he was given one window, and it goes back to what Colin says, look at that, agreeing with two birds with one stone on one thing with you, Colin. If they give him one window to shoot a little bit harder, shoot a little bit harder and edgier, and about a different fucking topic for once, they could possibly salvage that into something. And then we're talking. Then you got my interest going. But until then, it's kind of like what back to the final Alicia real quick. What Bray Wyatt became, where it was always the same. Man, let me tell you, man, every fucking time, and you became just numb to it. And I don't, because I feel like Miz, like you said, we're not saying he is good. He is very good. He's one of the better guys in the company on the mic, I feel like, but we'll see. We'll see. It is IC bound for Rollins and Balor, which is Christ. And I'm not going to be the whiner, but it's criminal in a way, especially the reactions Rollins is getting. Sometimes take risks. They should have. This is the time. Rollins is red hot. I mean, and I'm fine with the Roman stuff, but I mean, I just feel like he deserves a higher little placement, and we'll get that obviously, but we'll see. Any last thoughts on the IC title part of this show before we just move on to Asuka and Alexa and get out of here for the night, because I know it's late for you, Kuzon.
2 perfect waist members in one match.
I was
waiting for it. Overload.
I was waiting for the Perfect
there.
Waist Club mentioned.
It's gotta be on there. Your man's wearing blue leather with blue trunks. He's decked out. Seth, kind of ugly GTA San Andreas paint job over your lowrider. You need to change those trunks.
No,
but your man's there.
The flame trunks are exactly.
The flame trunks, they've got to go. They've got to go.
The hot flaming bag of chips. Spicy hot.
Yes.
And guys in the chat, if you don't know the time zone, it's like fucking 4 a.m. over there for Kuzon.
It's 3 a.m.
You bring up Balor and fucking Rollins being in the same match. It's like a double shot of espresso for him. He's like, all right, let's do next topic. Perfect waist.
Perfect waist club. It's got to happen. Hashtag perfect waist club. Get her done. Let's do it. WrestleMania.
Speaking of guys,
also, it wouldn't be a podcast with Kuzan if we didn't mention Brian Kendrick in some shape or fashion.
Where is he gone?
He had his face busted in by Hideo Itami. He's injured.
Telling you, man, injures people. Send him back to New Japan.
Jesus.
Send him back to New Japan and had him lose to Elgin. There you go.
There you go.
There's punishment.
There we are.
And as you said, all good things must come to an end. First and foremost, this has been a pleasure before we get to our last little end on Raw here in Great Raw. Thank you guys for one of the most intellectual, fun wrestling conversations I've ever had. And let's wrap it up with babyface Nia Jax. Guys.
So we're not going to talk about the 3 other matches that happened on Raw?
I mean, we can. You want to gloss over them?
Yeah, I mean, real quick.
If you're worried about me, I can carry on. Don't worry about me.
All right, Colin. Let's numero uno of these 3 matches.
All right. Well, I mean, there was a match that was a lot better than I thought it would be for a Raw match, but we had Braun Strowman versus Cesaro.
That's right.
I'm really liking the Braun Strowman storyline. I like it that he won a tag team battle royal by himself.
I want to see him with both belts.
No, the thing is, I don't want him to have a tag team partner. I want him to just be the tag team. I want him to be the only man ever to hold the tag team championships by himself. I want him to carry both belts. I want him to wear one around his waist if they can find an extender, and one on his shoulder. And I want it to happen so bad.
No. I want him with both belts dragging on the floor as soon as he gets into the ring, just screaming, Braun! With both belts up in arms.
That would be great. Fantastic.
I want that.
With confetti. Instead of confetti, it's like raw steak and burger. Yeah, man.
It'd be fantastic.
I can't argue with that booking. It's completely kind of what it should be. I know a lot of people jokingly want Elias and stuff. And I saw the picture tweeted out this week of them as rosebuds because I completely forgot Elias was a rosebud. My God.
Oh, my guy.
There was actually a lot of current stars in that photo that's there, like Carmella, Becky Lynch.
Yeah, they cropped out. It was that photo I saw
Gotch,
was like, fuck you, Simon Gotch. It cut out like half of his face just in case.
I recognize the mustache anywhere.
Exactly.
I miss Simon Gotch.
Just Wolverine, just with a picture, just in the frame.
Oh yeah.
What'd you think of this match, though, Colin?
I thought the match. Yeah, I thought it was good. I enjoy Braun Strowman a lot. I enjoy Cesaro a lot, and I think given time, they could have an actual just a really solid mid card match on a B show or something like that. I don't know what the story behind it would be, but
the fact that Cesaro could beat a monster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
God,
He's a
it feels so weird to like talk about a Cesaro singles run after this. Like the
Yeah.
Bar has been a team way longer than I feel like anyone thought. I love the Bar, don't get me wrong, but they've been a team for so long that I forget that they were single stars at one point.
Yeah, like before the Bar stuff happened, all I wanted for years was just a Cesaro and Brock match. A good, hard-hitting Cesaro and Brock match. Maybe a
Oh, yeah.
one-off. I didn't care. That's all I wanted forever because I was a huge... And I'm totally with you, too. It feels so weird now to think of, like, pushing for Cesaro and everybody getting behind him, getting the machine to push
But
him.
guys, Sheamus was a WWE champion once.
So is the Great Khali.
I
Well,
actually like Sheamus as champion.
I
Is that
love
a bad thing?
Sheamus is arguably like one of the most underrated people in WWE.
He took his fucking septum piercing out of his nose, though. He should have kept that.
No, I think he still has it, but he just doesn't wrestle with it because it like would get caught or something like that.
Sheamus, I feel like, is a simple case of great talent, but in another era would have been a lot better because and I loved when he first came in at like TLC and beat John Cena for the title in a tables match or whatever, and then they made him a chicken shit and had him run from like the Nexus, and he was in that corporate cringy 2010 2009 era that just sucked. But if he would have been in like mid 90s or late 90s, something like that, even maybe the late 80s, maybe it would have come off better. But I don't hate Sheamus. I just think that they've handled it.
I think Sheamus is easily a future Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah. I would for sure. Look at his accolades in that company.
Exactly. And not even like the sense that like, oh, everyone gets into the Hall of Fame. Like, no, if there were credentials and there were like, like some people don't get into the Hall of Fame, I still think Sheamus would be in the Hall of Fame at some point.
Unfortunately,
then he makes a porno with Sonny. Exactly. Jesus.
Oh God! And if you close your eyes, it sounds like fucking Finn Balor because it seems like every Irish guy they bring in, if you close your eyes, they sound exactly the fucking same, the tone and everything. But I know it breaks your heart. I'm busting on the Irish Kuzon. Anyway, fucking excuse me, Sasha Bailey. You know what? I've given Bailey shovels, truckloads of shit over the past fucking couple years. Every time she's on the mic, this may be the best I've ever seen her though. I'm not saying it was tremendous, but I'm saying for her, I didn't mind this. I know it's going to be pre-show filler. They're going to be in the Battle Royal. I kind of would rather see
Sasha Banks has officially been announced for the Battle Royal, so they're not doing a one-on-one match at Mania.
That's why I brought you on board, man, on the spot reporting. And I was going to say, I would actually prefer him now, being in the Battle Royal, so you could have they fuck each other over. And then this doesn't need to be rushed to the pre-show. This has been going on forever. You can still carry this on into a next pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
Basically.
It would work. See, the thing is, like, they need to decide whether they want Sasha to be babyface or heel.
They want her heel, I feel like.
I'm sick of this fucking tweener shit. It's doing my head in.
I think it's building up to her doing this awful thing to Bailey. I really do.
I nearly broke my phone by throwing it out of the wall and the elimination chamber. Like, I flipped my shit because I was so angry.
Because they didn't go all the way with it. They kind of did.
Yeah, it was just so, like, for those who are the first to watch me, I'm not an angry person when it comes to wrestling. I'm quite chilled out. I don't care as much as most people. But when you're flip-flopping on something and I'm just screaming at a TV just going, make a choice. It's like trying to get your wife to decide what to order. It's ridiculous.
Or your kids. One of the two. Fucking.
Oh, your kids.
God. We've been to this restaurant 100 times. What do you want? What do you want, Colin? What does Colin want with this Sasha Bailey stuff?
I thought you were just going to say, what do I want in general? I'm like,
what do you want
the
to eat,
revival.
Colin? You want a number 3? Large?
No, what I want is the Revival to be tag team champions already. But anyways, back to Sasha and Bailey. We'll get to the Revival. I don't know how much longer they can build this like tension and this like feud before they have to do it so it doesn't get stale and it doesn't get like dragged out too long. But I mean, if they're not doing it at Mania, if they can make it work until SummerSlam, I would do that. but I don't think they can, and I'm worried because like this whole Sasha Bailey thing, it's being built as far as I'm concerned like a pretty decently sized. Like it's gonna be a bad betrayal. Like one of them is gonna turn on the other, and it's not gonna be pretty, type thing. And like the match they're gonna have, and we've seen it in the past with the the takeover matches they've had. If they're if they're allowed to go out there and have that kind of match again, they're going to tear the house down.
And Sasha's.
But I don't want that to happen at like Backlash or No Mercy or some bullshit.
Like Sasha's gonna like fake botching as usual.
And secondly,
I wish that'd stop.
Secondly, what the fuck's your problem with Backlash? It's one of my. I like that name for a pay-per-view, actually.
No, it's not. It's not the. I don't.
No,
hate the
you
name,
sullied the
but
name Backlash live on
He
the air.
doesn't. He doesn't want it to happen at Backlash. He
I
wants
know.
it.
It's because Backlash is like a B show. It's
bruh.
Bruh. Yeah.
Bamboozled.
Revival time, Colin. Happy boy time. They got to win.
say yeah.
They did.
They did get the win. I was very happy. It was over Titus Worldwide, but a win is a win.
They're decked out in iridescent green, like El Matador's tights were.
Oh God!
Was it a tribute?
One's about
it was a tribute to the career they're probably gonna have.
It is what it is. They got the win. Thoughts? Anything about the match?
I like the idea that after the match they cut a promo and they were like, "We're gonna become the first tag team to win the Battle Royal." And in my mind, I'm thinking, you know what? Okay, I could see them doing that for some weird reason. I could see them like winning the Battle Royal. It's down to them two, but they're just like, no, we win. Ring the bell. We win. It's not what. Both of us win.
Yeah. Kuzon, did you see the Revival match this week?
I didn't. I skipped.
I watched the highlight.
You're not missing much.
I couldn't take it. Like 3 hours is a long time. It's like I gotta make time for other stuff. I gotta play my Skyrim. I gotta make my time.
There's always time for Skyrim.
Oh man, fifth go.
Asuka, Alexa Bliss.
By the way, we didn't actually bring up the fact that Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose beat Sasha Banks and Bayley in a tag team match on this show.
Because who the fuck cares? Nothing's going to progress for Absolution. They're just kind of bodies right now.
Riot Squad is like miles ahead of them already.
I can't argue that. At least they're somewhat an eighth more interesting, I guess.
I love the Riot Squad.
For other reasons. Asuka and Alexa. Man, you know what? People are bitching that Nia should still be a monster heel, whatever. I mean, you can't ignore how crowds have been reacting to Nia since she's been a heel. I don't know if I'm in love with the decision, but this is fine. I mean, I'm enjoying. People are up in arms about the fat shaming and promos. Hey, that's what a heel does. So,
I assume you're talking about Alexa, right? Because Nia's been a face.
That I'm talking about Nia Jax turning face, but people complaining about how she should never have turned face. How she should still be a monster heel is what I'm saying.
She's not a face in real life. Jesus.
No, she's not. She's a
my God.
She's not.
She's a horrible woman. She is.
She's not though.
Is she? See, now I got to be the middleman. Is she or isn't she?
No,
I think she's great.
I haven't had the chat up all show. If there's a soul in the chat, you're the tiebreaker. 1 if she is, 2 if she isn't.
Shout out to my friend Noemi who popped into the chat just to say that Colin ain't shit. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you for stopping by. I hope he hit the subscribe on his way out at least.
Girl, but okay.
Oh, my bad. Anyway, not like most girls came down after the.
We are.
Not, but pretty much. By the way, I know, but man, it's Slam Pigs podcast. Mickey James, oh so fun. My God, could you calm down, Mickey James? I can't take it. Her hair.
Yeah, she looked so good. I was like, man.
She's been on the smack with Naomi. Like, they've been going like mental with this stuff.
I've watched this. I watched this with my girlfriend, who is completely heterosexual, and and even my girlfriend went, "Wow." I was like, "Really?" Yeah, it was good stuff. But anyway, it was a classic heel runaway thing, which is whatever. It was a nothing match anyway because Asuka's leaving. So what the fuck? The crowd was kind of not really into it either. I feel like, Colin.
It happens because like the thing with Asuka now is compared to NXT, they see her every week. In NXT, I mean, in NXT at the tapings, you would see her like 4 times in a night. But it's different because, we're at home, so we only see her like, once every 2-3 weeks as she was the women's champion.
Not even on every episode.
Exactly. Now she's, on every Raw. She's, on SmackDown now, kind of. She hasn't wrestled on SmackDown yet, but still.
Oversaturated comes to mind.
Exactly. It's the same thing with, like, Nakamura or Bobby Roode or, the Revival, stuff like that. When they first show up, they get the big pop. Everyone's like, yeah! But then, after a year or so of, you see them every day, it's just like, you still like them and you still cheer for them, but you don't cheer as loudly. You don't have the same reaction.
I guess if anything, at least unlike Bobby Roode, Asuka isn't miscast immediately. Like the white baby face, and that's a whole other fucking show. What did you guys think of this?
Colin, you can go first.
I don't care.
All right.
Fight for it. I don't care who wants.
I thought the match was. I liked it. Some people were just like, boring. Or just didn't like it. I enjoyed the match for what it was worth. Asuka won by countout, which was different because like most of the time she usually just taps him out or pins him. Like Asuka, for the most part, doesn't win by countout. So I thought it was. I thought it was different. I'm very back and forth on the storyline between Alexa and Nia Jax as far as the body shaming is concerned because I'm a big boy. I am 300 pounds of man.
Right. So watching that as a viewer, that should make you hate that heel. Right,
and like I've been in Nia Jax's shoes as far as this is concerned. Like I've been bullied for my weight. I have had like my own friends do the kind of thing that Alexa Bliss has done. So, like, I like the storyline from an entertainment standpoint. But, the human being in me is like, Nia Jax, at the same time, probably is, in real life, not happy that she's as big as she is. And it's not bad. It's really not bad. I think she looks great, is for what it's worth. However, there's still, the stigma of, like, if you're a certain number, you're overweight, stuff like that.
Which is stupid.
It is stupid.
Exactly.
But it's the world we live in, and we can't change that right now. And so, like, I know a lot of people online, and, I've made the same, thing. Like, I try to be fair in these kind of things. They did a story about Alexa Bliss not too long ago, where she almost died of bulimia. And so now you're having a girl who got, shamed for being too small, bully someone who's too big? Are we just supposed to forget all that?
It's the reality era, pal. Buckle up.
See, here's the thing, right? I agree with everything that Colin says. My issue with Nia Jax, and it's not a kayfabe issue, she's fine in the ring.
You just don't like her in real life.
Right. Here's the thing, right? And I've said this multiple times. I do not like the fact that she rips fuck out of people for no reason and puts them out on the line to dry, right? Has anyone here heard of, who the hell is he called? He does WWE toy.
Grimm's
he does
toy
a WWE.
show.
Yes.
With his daughters and her threatening to get them taken away or whatever, something like that.
Yeah, they it got to the point where people who were fans of Nia Jax were putting it to the point that he was a bad parent, he shouldn't have a wife. And this was all because of the fact that she shamed this guy. Now, I'm not saying that's her fault, but I'm saying that her fan base was ripping fuck out of this guy because of a tweet. Which is ridiculous.
I can agree to that. Her fan base can be, defensive, and like I get it, I do, but like I don't think there's anything wrong with Nia Jax. And second to that, like I don't think there's anything wrong with her like calling out people, like, because people do this. I've seen it before. People will just tweet her like, "Hey, you're a fat bitch," or something like that. Maybe not necessarily that like graphic and intense, but like they will tweet her that kind of hateful thing, and she will respond with like, you know, okay, you know, I don't know exactly how she responds to a lot of it.
Which that is fine.
She will call them out. She'll be like, "Hey, what's up? Say it to my face again."
That is absolutely fine.
Like those people that like they'd sign up for Twitter for the first time, and one of the first things they do, they're so excited. Oh, it's a public figure. What do I do? What do I do? You're a fat bitch. They're just, you know what I mean?
Yeah. In my defense, I did the same thing to Batista when I signed up for Twitter.
What did you say to Batista?
I think it was in the middle of the his return, and he turned heel because they made him turn heel because the fans didn't like him anymore because they were on the Daniel Bryan hype train. And someone posted a photo in like a group that I was in where it was just a meme, and it was like, "You have no fans." And someone was like, "Someone tweet this to Batista," and I don't know why, but without thinking, I was like, "Okay." I went to the App Store, downloaded Twitter, made my account, and just first thing I tweeted, and you can, if you scroll through like 35,000 tweets that I have right now, that is still my first tweet. It's like, "Hey," I don't even know if I said anything in particular. I just tagged Batista in the thing. It was like, "Hey, just saying."
Which like, I can understand from that point of view, that's fine. But in this situation, and it's not just this situation, there's been loads of other situations like this where she's taken criticism as bashing, and they fucked, like, she's basically, like, set the wolves on them. Unintentionally, possible, but it still happens. You have a mob mentality then. But in the situation of this, the person in question did that because that was a gimmick that he did for his show, which she didn't know. Fair enough. But also to add to that is the fact of he does a lot worse for himself. Like whatever he said to her, he thinks about himself tenfold. And whatever happened did not help. You know, which is the fault of like her fans, not her. But in the way that she responds to people, she puts the image out that it's okay to rip fuck out of people because you're at a disadvantage, is what she's saying. And I put big problems of that because she's an impressionable figure.
Not to mention, you throw in the layers of shackling free speech and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. You're censoring. I have no problem with censoring, like, you know, hate and stuff. Actual, just, oh, you're fat. Oh,
I mean, it's borderline hate, but it was satire, I guess, in a way.
Well, that's the thing. I'm all for free speech, but using it to say, "Hey, fuck you, you fat bitch," is not how you should do it. And it's perfectly reasonable at that point to be like, "Hey, stop that. Shut up."
Yeah.
No.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But my point is that in not those situations, that's fine. But in the situations of when someone gives you actual, like, constructive criticism, she does not see it as that. She doesn't understand what that is. She doesn't grasp it as that. It's just, "Oh, you're just talking shit to me." And she does this because she doesn't have a great self-esteem. So she fakes it.
She also doesn't understand the fucking business. She was ushered in because of her family. Let's be honest. She doesn't understand that skit with Grimm. Yes, it was in bad taste. He used his kids, but it was still satire. You're a public figure, especially on WWE television. You set yourself up for being allowed to have skits like that made for you. Like it or not, that's the bed you made in. So collect your check and shut the fuck up.
Well, okay, but I don't think
she puts half-naked pictures of her. She puts half-naked pictures of herself on her Twitter.
You know what she did before wrestling? Plus-size model.
Actually, she used to be like. She used to be. I just for the record, I'm not saying this to be rude. I'm not saying this to be a bad
It's
thing.
Slam
I'm
Pigs,
saying,
baby. You can say whatever.
Exactly. I'm just saying this to be factual. She used to be skinnier. Like, she used to be, and I don't want to say this because it sounds bad, but it's just how it is. She used to be, like, normal size, is what I'm saying.
She was of average size.
Exactly.
Catering.
Which is fine.
I was saying, I got sidetracked there for a second. I don't think if she had a say in this type of thing that she would do this kind of storyline. Like, if she had a say, I seriously doubt she'd be like, oh, a storyline where I just get fat-shamed and bullied the entire time? Sure, let's do it. She was told that, like, hey, this is the direction we're going in. Here's your lines. Go talk and, go do this. And she just has to be like, okay.
Put my work boots on.
Work boots, pudding heads, gender shirts at SmackDown shows. My God, what a unveiling of the new regime. What a night it's been. Guys, thank you. Slam Pigs Podcast, and welcome again to the crew. Where can everyone check you out again, Colin, before we get out of here?
You can find me on Twitter at UberTieGuy. I live tweet Raw. I live tweet SmackDown. I'm usually busy on Wednesdays, but at some point I live tweet NXT. I live tweet New Japan. I do a lot of wrestling shit on Twitter. And at the same time, I also just, give my own opinions. I bullshit, all that stuff. So you can follow me on Twitter at UberTieGuy. You can check me out over at the Future of Wrestling, where every Tuesday, if we feel like it, we do Slam Pigs Cruise Control, or fuck me, do Future, whatever the fuck it's called. We do a thing about the cruiserweights. And check me out here now. By the way, disclaimer, I will be in Mexico next week. I will not have connection. So for the second episode, I will not be here.
Oh, Viva la Colin next week. Enjoy your trip, my friend. And I gotta say, and I'm gonna tell Logan, even if he was listening, I'm so proud. We went 2 hours. Not a Joey Ryan reference in sight. Congratulations. Good job.
It took some willpower, but I made it through.
Your boy's gonna be like having a cry wank in the corner of Mexico.
Oh, probably. Oh, Kenny Omega. All right, they got that in,
bro.
Speaking of your boy, Kuzon, man. Where can everyone check you out?
If you noticed, if it's your first time hearing of me, I make a lot of video game references. I love my video games. You can find me over on twitch.tv. Is it not underscore? It's /Kuzon_TV if you're into the Twitch stream stuffs. Come and join us. I do a lot of Skyrim at the moment. I do some Splatoon online stuff. I'm trying to get Travis to have a Switch at some point, so we can do some Splatoon squadding.
Oh yeah.
We gotta get on that, or at least do something.
I gotta get off my lazy ass and buy a Switch.
You can also find me over on Twitter at KuzonTV, where I usually just post a load of GIFs. For some reason, obscure references and all that, but
see, my favorite thing about being awake at 4 a.m. my time is it's normal time for Kuzon, and I'll just get a burst of Kuzon in my Twitter feed where he's just replying to tweets, replying to wrestlers, replying to GIFs with other GIFs, and it's fun sometimes. I'm just like, oh, okay then.
I'm very humble. Well, I might sound like a very angry person with wrestling. At the moment, I'm quite chilled out. I'm a very chilled out Britishman.
Even better for me, because for me, my time Eastern, it's like the morning at work, so it helps pass the work by when Kuzon tweets people.
I live on the West Coast. It's 8:30 p.m. right now. I still have plenty of time.
It's
Fuck
3.
you, I gotta work
3 in the morning right now.
I gotta go to bed soon. Damn it. Anyway, where can they catch you out once again, man?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I
think you said it. I don't know.
I said Twitch.tv. You can find me on that. I'm on YouTube as well. Doing The Last of Us at the moment. So that's Kuzon TV. It's just Kuzon TV or Kuzon_TV for YouTube, Twitch.tv, and Twitter.
And man, I will try to set up an earlier time for you next week, since Viva la Colin next week won't be with us. We'll get somebody to fill in the slot. Maybe Drew or Logan. We'll see what we can work out.
Oh god, if you get Logan in, like, my guy, this man is gonna start crying.
I'll just do it for that. It's worth it.
Your man's gonna be here going, I hate the British. It's like, yeah, don't pull the whole America versus UK card. I got a load of offensive jokes for that kind of thing. Your man's gonna be sweating.
Oh god. You can follow me on Twitter at @TheMickeyTMD. Hit that subscribe down below. Hit MickeyTMD YouTube. Never drew a dime. Coming back to Grapple Vision, I promise, with my man Drew Ortman. Reset button with Tannen. Retro gaming,
Yes.
pro wrestling, all the goodness. For Colin, for Kuzon, for Slam Pigs. We're back. See you next time.